Okay. I'm going to start in my what seems to be more regular location on the beach club area, because on the last update I really wanted to highlight the garage area, but we had all the scaffolding in. So today is Friday, July the 10th. We are 8 working days on from the last update video that was somewhat of a controlled mayhem going on, as we had so many people on the boat. Today being Friday is my day to get everybody to clean up. So the boat is a lot more organized this time, as everybody cleaned up right before going off to lunch. So the guys on our boat here are off to lunch, but as you can hear, the boat behind us, I think they've got people working through lunch on it. But so we'll start here, and all of the scaffolding has been removed from both the garage and the engine room, so we can get a very good idea now of what's going on in the garage area. It is a staging area, obviously. You can see here from all of the wood, this is the guest area wood that came on the container. So say we're using this as a perfect staging area that protects this wood from anything that can happen to it outside. So that's all of this and all of that over there, but it does give me enough here to explain what is going on. We've put together, this is right now just some kind of framework for the storage area. So this, you can put a full-size freezer in there, an extra dryer if you want, wetsuit hanging locker, or you can turn this into whatever you want to use it. Obviously this is just the framework, so we will be putting on the cladding, which is the finished cladding. That will just attach straight to this framework and the doors. And next to it, we've designed this in case they wanted to add a dive compressor and like a Brownie third long or something. The compressor can go in here, and either side is deep enough to hold all the bottles. We got over on the forward bulkhead, we've got the same just storage unit that is big enough to fit whatever you need in there. Also, obviously the door to the engine room. This area here is the cylinders for the fire suppression system for the engine room. As I think I said before, I never like to put the operating cylinders and everything into the space that it is supposed to protect. So all of these are protecting the engine room, and it's simply plumbed in, and all of it's hard piped straight through there right into the engine room. And then in between here, we've got a flat bench here. This is a flat surface. Underneath, we will put in like a Mac tool chest or snap-on tool chest right in there. And either side, we've got deep storage drawers for things like engine filters, generator filters, Raycor filters will all slide out, and they'll just be stored safely in there. And then the last one was for the stacked washer and dryer, right there. So I'll walk through the engine room and through to the other side, but this is, I've mentioned before, this right here, the overhead crane is a bolt-on, so we've built the entire structure, tied it into all of our longitudinals. So that's a very solid foundation for the sliding overhead crane. So the sliding overhead crane comes straight down here. This is the height of the ceiling bracket, and they'll just return into it. And then all you'll see is a nice white. We'll paint the bottom of the crane white, and it'll just pop down maybe 150, 180 millimeters from the ceiling. And that's all you'll see. So the scaffolding has also disappeared from the engine room. So I can walk. We've got the step down here, so we can walk underneath this big SCR block. And once we got double floor. Once I'm careful, we will have a handrail going down there, so it'll be easy to get to this area while underway. So this is the air conditioning system, and we can see here, this is where the exhaust comes in from the engine into here and comes out there. And then if I go down here, so it will come down the ship side, straight down, and overboard right there. In that vertical stretch, we will put the spray ring to cool down the engine exhaust gases. And then the bypass, which is just the gases, will come along here. We'll put another muffler canister here. And then the cool gases, when you're at low speed, low res, will go straight out, which is this exit is above the waterline. And so that is a good look from this corner of the engine room. Let's wander back. So those that have been following along with these updates and have the eagle eyes, you'll notice that this was all left open on every other video. It is now closed, which is obviously a very positive sign, because it can mean only one thing, which I'll show you once we get down into the area forward of this bulkhead. But with this now being closed, a chain reaction of events, all positive, can happen. This other SCR block can be hung up here, and then we can finish off. We've got one more piece of this framework is a floating bulkhead, so we've got once this is fully welded in, it's just tacked in right now, they'll weld it in over the weekend. Once this is fully welded in, we can put this framework in. Then we can finish off this sober screen, which is the finished white perforated. Trust me, it's white when we peel off the blue protective part. And then once that happens, we can now start putting on the fuel tank vent boxes. So we got one that goes in here and one that goes right over there. And those are the vent boxes. Underneath here we've got all of the flanges that are the vent pipes from all of the tanks that come up, go into a box there, go into this pipe, and this is the pipe that you see going all the way up to the right now to the fly bridge. They will eventually go up to the upper mast. So this is the head onto treatment plant. Again, the main engine exhaust will be exactly the same. Here we do have a bit more room over this side, but we will have the chlorine tank for the black water treatment and the control panel going in here. And you can see under the floor, this would be the black water pump. We've also got exactly the same grey water pump right under here. Both of these are what brings everything from the grey water, black water tank and feeds the treatment plant right there. So with the bulkhead, the forward bulkhead closed off, we can now fully work on that end, and then right after that, this part of the bulkhead will be closed off. And this is obviously, I showed you last week, the garage door from the outside. We have the floor is here. Let me go over to this side, explain a little more. We've got some big, heavy duty channels in here that run forward and aft. We've got three. We've got one here. We got one, it's a little hard to see right now, but it's right there. And then we got a third one up there. For the configuration that we are planning right now, for this project, it is going to hold 2 jet skis in here. So really these two, we'll use these two. They will have 2 chops on them that will slide linear. So they'll slide forward and aft, because the overhead crane is on the center of the door. Spin around. So the center of the door has the overhead crane. So you would bring up the one jet ski, bring it in, sit it on the chuck, and because it's on a linear sliding track, you would slide that one forward. You would bring the other chop from here to center line. You would bring the second jet ski in. So that's how this one will work. And the hinges have all been fully engineered. So the hinge will be bolted to here, and then the other side obviously bolted to the door. And then we've got the hydraulic actuators, pins right here that go down, connect to the hinge itself. And we've stepped up here, we've stepped up the overhead to give you headroom clearance underneath all of the hinges. I say, and then you've got the step up here, and then you are directly out there to the jet ski. So we've had, the last few weeks, we've had an awful lot of work done in the garage as far as the hot work, metal work. Which has also allowed us to start doing this is our grey water pipe, which runs all the way back to the tanks underneath the guest area floor. So this will be for the washer dryer, and it will continue on to the sink in the beach club bar. So that is the update from the garage. That's it. And up here, I know I was mentioning on the last video about the constant battle of who gets there first, the plumbers or the electricians. 8 days ago, we just saw all the pipes in. Well, it didn't take long for the electricians to catch up with them. Good job we got the plumbing in first, because they've now started to wire all of the overhead lights and everything on the outside. And as we move forward, all of the cables that were all coiled up on the lower deck are now starting to come up through the proper penetrations. And also we've got the overhead finished off here. What we're doing here is we've welded, right now it's just leveled in and tacked in, but we will skip weld this bracket in. What it allows us to do, because you always have to hide the seam of the paintwork and seal it, because the blisters all come from moisture that works its way under the seams. So the way this works now is the painters come in, they fare up to here, and then they will paint the primer all the way around the metal, and they will bring their top coat all the way around the metal. And then we will make some PVC sub-sealing panels that has full access up above, but what that does is we glue and seal it then to this. So once the finished paint comes around, we've got a sealed 5200 in sub-panel. So that is completely protected, that seam. Same thing on the conversation of seams, these are the handrail sockets, so all of the finished paint will go in there. It gets a Delron sleeve, again, that's glued in there and completely seals that seam of the paint. And down here, obviously fairing paint all the way. The painters will then bring the seam of the finished paint onto the deck, and then the teak deck is then glued and sealed, protecting that seam. So a lot of planning and preparation for the way that we end the paint seams. So everything is sealed. So you can, last week I think these were still out because we just welded them in, but all of the deck grains now are in and finished. We can see all of the wiring up here now, starting to get ran and put in place. We've got, this is where the wiring penetration is. So last week it was round. We've now put in, this is a Roxtec seal. So all of the wires go through this individually. Every wire is individually sealed in this type of penetration system. I can show you a lot better when we get onto the lower deck, as we started putting in some of the seals down there. Again, everything has been brought up. The one thing we haven't brought up yet is the hoses for the soft copper pipe with the insulation on. I call it a hose because it's on a roll, but it is a soft copper pipe. They have to come up there. So that's the only thing that we need to bring up from down below. All of the wires that we coiled below, as you can see, all starting to come up one more deck. And we get, obviously we get less and less wiring, less and less plumbing the further up we go. So we've started doing all of the wire chases in the pilot house, so I'll run up into the pilot house. We've got all of the metal work for the penetrations finished in here. These are the return air. We've got one air conditioning unit in the doghouse. So these aren't two random holes in the middle of the pilot house floor. There is the bench seat that sits right there and comes down. It's an L-shaped seat, so that height will come around here. So this is the return air. We will put a grill on the end of the seat around here. So we are moving air through the doghouse as the fan coil down below uses this for its return air. And then this fan coil in the doghouse then supplies up here and supplies there. We also have one other, we've got two 36,000 BTU fan coils that just feed the pilot house. This one fits on the other side. The unit is on the opposite side of this bulkhead, but it is fed up into the pilot house through there. And the design, let me step back, make sure where the stairs are. This ducting comes up and we have another soffit that goes right across there that will blow all the air out this way. And we've got this area will have the cabinet for all of the safety displays. So we have one of the 21-inch display units. We'll also have the alarm system for the steering, the C-zone monitoring system. I think the fire, the manual means to activate the fire suppression for the engine room will all go into this cabinet that fits up to here from the back of the seat. And then we've got all of the wires for that one coming up there. We got all of the wires here coming up. This is the underside of the flybridge dash right here. So all of these will be coming up in a nice tray there. The third one is for the steering system. that comes up here, because this is the unit that has the manual override. Should you lose power, this one will automatically go to manual hydraulic steering. So all of those pipes will come up the center one, and then this, from this display panel here, this is all storage. It does an L shape, but we do have an electrical panel going in there as well, and that is fed from this one, so they will come up and go into that panel. And then all of the electronics and wiring for the dash and displays all comes up here, just comes straight up, and then you've got the dash sitting right, let me go up a bit, right about here. So all the metal work is done here, so we can start bringing the electrical. Once as it starts coming up onto this deck, it can start coming into here, because I believe we had this on the update from 8 days ago, but we have put the metal panel here for 2 big sub panels that go in here. So we got all of the wires that are coming up here, anything that goes from the dash, the sonar, the depth gauge, everything will go into the black box. And see if I can get a good shot. So it will come up from there, go to wherever it's going in here, and then straight up to the dash there. We do have another AC fan coil sitting here, which the pipes come out there. This is for the bathroom, for the master bathroom. Now, the big thing we've been working on here is, the patio door. It's become infamous now, the patio door. This is the foam core that we had cut into China and was on the last container. So we've used this right now. They've got the bearings. I didn't want them to put in the bearings and the seals for the shafts because of the shape and the curve. Everything is super complicated, the geometry, and the only way to get it dead on is to actually use the door itself to mark where the shafts go. So we'll go, when we go down to the, I believe they've got them tacked in. If not, they're very close. The hole's cut. And once they've got them tacked in, we'll be able to operate this door up and down. So what I'm going to do is, I did an unboxing video. This is Friday, so on Wednesday we unboxed this. I will splice the unboxing video in now, and we'll see how good my video editing skills are. So hopefully I'll be able to splice that in now and return back to today, right after it. See? You wanted to get a crane. Alright, this is the unwrapping of the infamous patio door. The robots cut this in China, and we made all of the structure here, obviously here in Vietnam. So this is the first time we are putting the two together. We've just got to spin it 180 degrees, and right now you're seeing the exact reason why I didn't want to make this out of steel. This would be, once this is cut and shaped by the painters into absolute level, the foam core, then we'll resin infuse the core, and then fiberglass or carbon fiber the whole door. No, it has to fit from the outside. It has to fit from the outside. There's a door stop on the inside. Yeah. That's it. You got it. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. It should fit inside the scaffolding and inside the door jamb. Oh, the top scaffolding. Okay. Got it. You've got to bring the forward end outboard. Out. Okay, then we got to move the scaffolding. Okay, it looks like that one piece of scaffolding is just hanging up on the, you zoom in, that piece of yellow sticking up is going to be interfering with the rub rail. So it looks like we've got to remove all of this layer of scaffolding before we can actually put it in position. So let me take a break and let them do that, and we will come back again once that piece of scaffolding is out. Okay, so we are about 30 minutes later. You can see they've actually repositioned. They didn't remove the scaffold. We actually repositioned it lower down, which is absolutely ideal now for working height. So I promise we didn't dry fit this in the meantime. This is the first time you're seeing this, the first time we are. You can tap that in with a piece of wood. Doesn't matter, we'll relieve it later once we've marked where the shaft is.
That's as far as it'll go, that's far.
Because of what?
There's a metal bar here.
It should have been cut out for that.
It's like this metal wasn't planned to be here.
That metal definitely was planned to be there. Okay. But looking at all the heights and everything on it, you can see let me get my hand out of the way. You can see how we cut continued the rub rail into the door. That all looks good. The height of the cap rail and the shape is all looking good to the door. The shape on the other side is perfect. We just need to relieve the foam a little bit on this side. It's just a little bit too tight. And yeah, we've got probably about 40 millimeters just sticking out. So we need a big gap between there anyway. So we can relieve this edge. And I think everything's looking really, really good so far. I mean, let me try and look down there. I've got to be careful with the parts of the scaffold they've moved now. But let us, you can see here, once we get that release done, where Mike's hand is right now, then the shape is actually looking really, really good. To say a 7-axis robot in China cut out the PVC core, and all of these wonderful guys here did the foundations on the boat. First fit up, I think it's really, I mean, that is right on the money, the continuation of this, of the rub rail on the door. And actually so is the cap rail. So yep, very pleased with that. So I'll be doing an update on, this is Wednesday right now, so I'll be doing an update on Friday, and I think this should be in the closed position. I just wanted to insert this video for checking out the first fit together. So I will return you to the progress update in progress. Bye. So that is the patio door, and just while I'm here, let me explain. These holes are a continuation of the regular handrail. You've got these holes here. So that is, and this partial handrail, obviously there'll be a seam in the handrail here, but this handrail will go up and down with the door. Then we have these other holes for when the door is in the down position. You would then open up the guardrail around the door, and then as this door is down, the guardrail coming up, we will put the cross brace between the end of this handrail onto the guardrail. And what they're doing now, the good reason why I didn't resin infuse this to make it a stiffer piece of foam was because we are cutting and molding everything we need to make sure we got the full operating clearance, and also the access from up here to the shafting. Obviously once the door is fully down, you've got plenty of access to the shaft, but we have to install it in the closed position, so we have to open up those a little bit. But that is the patio door, and this will all have teak on it, this will all have teak on it. So once it is in the down position, it will just be a nice big teak deck patio. So let me start in the crew area, because as we moved the electricians out of the guest area, they initially came up here. So we do have our first electrical panel. If they didn't lock it, they locked it. Yeah, they locked it, but it is fully, it's fully wired up. And let me see, oh, I can see the, yeah, they do have, see, I'm not sure if it will, video will pick it out, but we do have the housing on there. So we have, the bearing goes on this side, it's a top hat bearing, so it also has a thrust washer built into the bearing. On the outside goes in, and then the shaft will come through with the seal on it right here. And this will be your access to that. This is the crew lounge. So the air plenum is removable to always have access to that, because the electrical actuator will go on that. And then this is the port side crew with the bunk bed, and that will be your access right here to the actuator and the seal. So the no work has gone up on the flybridge or the foredeck since we put in the ventilation boxes, which I showed on the previous video. So the next place to go is the guest accommodation area. So obviously you'll see significant changes down here. So the laborious and painstaking job of leveling off every floor square that was attached to the steel frame. That one probably took the most amount of work. That was time consuming and, as I say, laborious to get done. But as soon as that gets done, we know now that this floor is level and the height from the floor to the window is dead on our numbers for us to start installing the bulkheads and shipside. So same thing down here. Anytime you see the epoxy sealed wood, these are the bathrooms. So bathrooms, showers, this is exactly matches the mock-up that is built in the factory. And we had to hold off, this is the plate that we've now closed in, because we've got all of the big items that we needed to through here. All of the bulkheads can, because they're flat, they're big, long and flat, but they can fit through our VIP suite window. It's big enough to fit every bulkhead through. So all of the bulkheads will be staged on the scaffold outside. Whenever the carpenter needs them, they just bring them straight through the window as they go. So we can see here, this is, the closets are not sitting on the bases yet. The bases are still strapped here. So right now we've just put them in position, because we got to position all of the adjoining walls and the adjoining ship sides, and the walls will go in first before the closet is installed. So they do still have to sit on here, but you can get an idea. Here you've got your access to the valve overboard, and here is your access down to the stabilizer actuator. That's a watertight hatch. It's just set in place right now. But you also have access underneath the floor. Here is the cofferdam area. So one person can be working above and one person can be working below to access these actuators if they needed to. And, ooh, where's the wire? This is what the Roxtec wire penetrations look like. So you can see every wire has this individual fitting to come through. So it's not a big bundle of wires just fire corked in. Again, every wire has had to have been pre-thought and ran in a certain place, because these will only fit so much. Obviously we got a few spares in it, but that is what a Roxtec. And this is water and fire protection from the engine room. And then we got much less wires here, as right here is where they start going up, where you saw them going up. Right there. And right here is the deck penetration. Again, this will be another Roxtec fitting, so they'll all be individually going up through that deck. They've started on the aft ones, and this big coil is the coil that is going up into the doghouse which are these ones that I just showed you from the main deck. Basically, these ones, if needed, go all the way up to the dash. And this is our floating bulkhead. So you saw all of the squares underneath here that has the silamer on it that floats the floor. Let me go down. This one will be a better one to show you. Right now we can only install this part because this bulkhead goes past where we've got to weld this up. So we are just fitting in this one, and then we will start to put the interior bulkheads in up here until they've finished welding this plate in. Then we can put the insulation on and then put this on. And this is what is there. So this side, again, it's the same concept of what we did on the floor, although we just don't have the wooden squares. We have these hanging brackets in which we will screw a mahogany block to that, and then that mahogany block is attached to this side. So basically this is your metal side, and then we've got the silamer, and then the interior bulkhead is attached to this, is just wood screwed into that. So both forward and aft bulkheads, this one is in. So you can see how here this has the mahogany block in it that is sealed and glued to the metal on this side. We got the silamer isolator, and then we've got that interior side right here. So everything on the interior, bulkheads, floor, bulkhead at the back, and we haven't started the overhead yet, but these will have isolation grommets in it. Oh, there I am. And then we have another L-shaped bracket that fits down like that. We attach another mahogany block to that, and then screw our sub ceiling to it. So the ceiling floats, the floor floats, the bulkheads float. The wood on the ship side does not touch metal. It's structurally secure enough that it is attached to the bulkhead. The furniture, we got furniture going up against it that's attached to it, and the floor. So there's on the ship side, nothing touches the metal. So this entire interior is floating off of the metal structure. So we can see how well the copper plumber did, because he got carried away and put all his pipes in. But these are, one side is for one bathroom, one side is for the other bathroom, and you can see here is the wall. So he did really well. He did really well. And now with the floor down and the pipes sticking up, they don't just look like random pipes ran to places. This is the VIP suite bathroom. So we've got the headhunter toilet that goes right between, centered between these two walls here. So that goes in here. This is the discharge, which simply comes in and plumbs into it. But the freshwater flush, when you press the flush button, it actuates what headhunter call a adder valve. So on this bulkhead, inside the pipe box, we will fit the adder valve. The fresh water plumbs into it one side, and then a hose goes from there straight into the back of the headhunter toilet, the other side. And that's basically all we need to do to finish the flush in, we can see, in all of the bathrooms are done that way. This is the starboard side aft guest stateroom. So this toilet goes against the ship side. So again, we got the discharge here. We've got right here the fresh water supply goes into the adder valve, into the back of the toilet. And this is the twin bathroom. Same. This one got a little tight because we kept the stairs a fire bulkhead, so we couldn't recess anything into the stair bulkhead. So this one will come up, go straight in. This one will go above the top of it, add a valve, and then in. And then on this container, we do have all of the 3D printed shower drains. But we will, once all the walls are up, we will install all of those and cover and protect them. Basically, each one of these slots in the tray has a MPT threaded coupling into it that all ties into this pipe here. And before they started to put the floor down, I mean, you saw the last video with the controlled mayhem going on with all the people. We did spend, if I could open it, it's a little hot. We spent about 3 days and had a crew in here and scrubbed the tanks clean. And each tank has welded in there, right here. We'd welded in what the tank is. It's a class requirement for class, but we did it, and we went in there and we painted on top of the weld right before we laid the floor down. So everything underneath the floor was scrubbed and cleaned before we put the floor down. And these random pipes that you see just coming up through the floor is the air conditioning condensate drain. So that has a P-trap underneath, and it drains into the grey water tank for any condensation that might happen on the air conditioning. Fan coil. Now I will wander down to the floor, because the one thing we've done with all of these fan coils is we've built a secondary tray. The manufacturer supplies a tray, but it's very small, and it does have the pipe fitting on for us to plumb. But it is a very small chamber. So what we do is we're making, I believe there's 26 trays, so there's 26 fan coils. We are making a tray for each one. The tray has a design bracket on it. I saw them making them down here earlier, so I'm heading down there. A picture will cover 1,000 of my words. Yep, they're still down there. So this is front to fabrication setup. So all of this is still the hanging ceiling. There's an awful lot of it. It was getting fabricated and tacked together. Now I believe they've finished welding it together. And these are the trays that I was talking about. So let me wander down there and explain what we're doing with that, because we will install these trays. We don't need to install the fan coil on the tray yet. We can dry fit the fan coil. But when we install the tray into the boat with the little rubber mount on it for the fan coil to sit on, the tray itself would hold all of the plumbing and electrical, because these are all the trays under construction. So right now the fan coil sits on these angles, and what we've designed into it, this will be your valves, your shut-off valves for the gas and the refrigerant, that will be hard piped and plumbed to here and attached to this. This will be attached to the boat. We've got one the other side for the electrical box, so you will hardwire the electrical box. Then this can sit on the boat, and then when you put the fan coil into it, all you've got to do is take a hose that goes to the correct pipe and basically connect the fan coil to this tray. The wire would do the same thing, connect to the junction box on the other side. So getting these trays in is about 90% of the work of installing the fan coils, and then you can see right here we drain. We've made up all of these because Vietnam doesn't have NPT, so we make up all of the NPT fittings that get welded to it. So all of those random 3/4 inch PVC pipes you see sticking up the deck plumb into these trays. So yeah, as we can see, these are all welded out. So I think once the electricians have got a lot in the overhead, they will start putting the hanging ceiling in the main salon in. And then once we've got these stanchions welded in, we can insulate all of that. So that is, if you've seen the video from 8 days ago, that's 8 days worth of progress, which progress in every area right now. So that is the update from the shipyard. Oh, can't get a good view with all the scaffolding on it, but that is the update from the shipyard from July the 10th. Next week, this weekend, I go back to the factory in China, so at some point there'll be an update coming from there. Until then, bye for now. Okay, so those that have made it the 51 minutes to this point, congratulations. We do have the door actuated, so I have wanted to slice this video in on the end. Those that are just skipping all the way to the end, welcome. But this is our first test. We've now got we've made up some alignment shafts. So we've got the bearings in now, the bearings sealed, all aligned. And this is, we've got a couple of the worker factory guys acting as our DC actuators. And this is now the full size of your door, the patio in the down position. So it is very spacious because of the shape and the design. It is kind of a tapered shape and comes down to a narrower end this side, but there's more than enough room to put 2 chairs up there with the table in the middle. You can even put 2 more down this side if needed, but that is quite a big space. Let's get the actuators to bring it back up into position. And now it's back to the balcony. So it's okay. So you can see the alignment is actually really good. And on the unboxing, we couldn't get it to come all the way in. This is the jamb here. We actually had a little piece of metal that continued up here, so that was preventing on unboxing day to get this aligned. So once we took that out, we got it to seat very nicely. So that is the door. We'll make our adjustments on the foam core, and then we'll resin infuse it and just cover it in carbon fiber or fiberglass. And that is it. So that is just a quick additional update. Bye for now.